Good morning, class. So today we start with Mughal dynasty. Now one more thing, children. Not all the emperors of the Mughal dynasty have been taken up here. Mainly the emperors they have talked about over here in this particular chapter are Babur, the founder of the Mughal dynasty, then Akbar, one of the greatest kings of the Mughal dynasty, and then Aurangzeb, because after Aurangzeb the Mughal empire was on a decline. So these are the three Mughal emperors that they have focused on in this particular chapter. Now up till now we studied about the different sources of information about the Mughal dynasty. We have the Jama Masjid, the Red Fort, the Taj Mahal, and the Ain-e Akbari, which consists of 5 different books written by Abul Fazl. I want you to open up to page number 80 and we'll start with Babur. Babur, whose full name was Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, was a descendant of Taimur, the Mongol ruler. At Kabul, he carved out a small principality for himself. It is principality as a state ruled by a prince. Having established himself at Kabul, Babur turned his eyes upon India. Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, invited Babur to oust Ibrahim Lodi from the throne. Now this was the major reason why Babur turned towards India. In the first battle of Panipat, 1526, Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi and occupied Delhi and Agra. Babur had to wage 2 other wars, one against Rana Sanga of Mewar and the other against the eastern Afghans, before he could consolidate his hold on this area. Which area? The northern India. Now, the Battle of Khanwa, 1527, was fiercely fought between Babur and Rana Sanga's forces. Rana Sanga's forces were defeated. The Battle of Khanwa secured Babur's position in the Delhi-Agra region. In 1529, Babur met the combined forces of the Afghans and Nusrat Shah of Bengal at the Battle of Khagra, near the junction of Khagra river with the Ganges. Junction, confluence. Babur crossed the river and compelled the Bengal and the Afghan armies to retreat. However, he could not win a decisive victory. He died in 1530, even before he could stabilize the Mughal empire. Now children, in history, in class 7, you have learnt about the Mughal emperors and the Mughal dynasty as such, and you have learnt about all the great Mughal emperors. Babur was succeeded by his son Humayun. So Humayun is not spoken of over here, only Babur, and how he consolidated his hold over the Delhi-Agra region. He fought 3 battles. The major ones were the Battle of Panipat 1526 and Battle of Khanwa 1527. Then in 1529 he met the combined forces of Afghans and Nusrat Shah of Bengal, and this battle is known as Battle of Khagra. Then next we come to Akbar. Now we all know that Akbar was the greatest of Mughal rulers of India. He was only 13 years old when he ascended the throne and was guided by his tutor Behram Khan. Akbar succeeded to a difficult position and had to virtually reconquer his empire. See, though there was the position was difficult, where his enemies were concerned outside. The enemies of the empire were concerned from the outside. He was very young to take decisions, but Behram Khan was a loyal tutor and he stuck to Akbar till the time Akbar got rid of him. Now, the Afghans were regrouping their forces under the leadership of Hemu, the Wazir of Adil Shah, for a final showdown with the Mughals. In the second battle of Panipat, the Mughal forces led by Behram Khan defeated Hemu. So the first battle of Panipat was between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur. The second battle of Panipat was between the Mughal forces led by Behram Khan against him. After having established himself in Delhi and Agra, Akbar captured Malwa and Gondwana, Bengal, Gujarat, Kashmir and Kabul. He ventured beyond the Vindhyas in Deccan and after a stiff resistance defeated many local rulers. Finally, Ahmednagar, Berar and Khandesh were annexed to the Mughal Empire. He also subdued the Rajput princes except Mewar. As a result, the famous battle of Haldi Ghati was fought in 1576 between Maharana Pratap, the ruler of Mewar, and the Mughal army led by Raja Man Singh. So these two major battles, the second battle of Panipat, Akbar was too young. The battle of Haldi Ghati, the Mughal forces were led by Raja Man Singh, and Akbar did not lead the army himself. Maharana Pratap fought with matchless courage but had to escape from the battlefield when he was heavily wounded. Now Akbar died in 1605. By the time Akbar died, his authority had extended from Assam in the east to the areas beyond the northwestern frontier, that is Kabul and Kandahar, in the west. In the Deccan, his dominions included Ahmednagar, Khandesh and Berar. The kingdoms of Multan, Sindh, Gujarat, Kashmir and Bengal ceased to exist. So we'll quickly look at the map which is given on page number 81, and it shows the extent of Akbar's empire from east to west and from north to south. Can you see over there? Peshawar, Kandahar, Kabul here. Then we talk about Khandesh and Berar here. Bengal, Orissa, all were annexed under the Mughal Empire or Akbar's empire as such. Now children, over here when we are studying about, basically the study is about the medieval period. It is not about individuals, but the individuals who, because of whom medieval period is so important in Indian history. So they have not talked about much about Babur or Akbar, his other achievements, the buildings constructed, the palaces constructed by them. Now, over here they have talked about Akbar's Rajput policy, which was very important in making his kingdom the way it was, in the sense how he managed to rule over his kingdom, such a large extent of the kingdom peacefully. Now the Rajput policy of Akbar proved to be one of his greatest achievements. He entered into marriage alliances with the Rajputs. Bharamal, the ruler of Amber, married his younger daughter Harka Bhai to Akbar. Akbar not only gave complete religious freedom to his wives who followed Hinduism, but also gave an honored place to their parents and relations in the nobility. So he was not a fanatic Muslim. He had liberal views towards other religions, unlike his predecessors or his followers. Akbar not only Thus, the Rajput policy of Akbar ended the centuries-old animosity between the Muslim rulers and the Rajputs. Enmity. Now, it was mainly because the earlier Muslim kings or the sultans, they did not look favorably upon Hinduism. So, there was always a friction between these two religions. Since the Rajputs were made equal partners in the Mughal government, it considerably affected the public policies of the Mughals and greatly helped in the growth of a composite culture. Now, because the Rajputs, who belonged to Hinduism, were given equal opportunities in the kingdom, not just in where nobility was concerned, but where positions of importance was concerned in Akbar's administration. People were appointed to particular posts because of their competence and not because they were Muslims or they were Hindu. So this paved a favorable way for the empire to flourish. Now, when we talk about composite culture, composite is a fusion of different cultures. When we talk about composite culture under the rule of Akbar, then we are talking about the best elements taken from the Persian and the Indian religions or cultures. Now, Steps towards integration. Akbar took a number of measures to promote greater understanding between the Hindus and the Muslims. Through these measures, he created an atmosphere in which liberal views could grow, and finally, cultural and emotional integration of the people could develop. Now, when we talk about liberal views, that is the generous views that Akbar had towards other religions, not just Hinduism. Most probably, Jainism and Buddhism were also existing or flourished under his reign. Now, children, we will discuss the steps towards integration in the next video. As of now, I want you to go through the life and achievements of Babur and Akbar and the main battles that they fought in consolidating their empire. Anything which you have not understood, all the dates and all the battles are very important. The extent of the empire of both the emperors are very important, so please make sure you learn them by heart. Anything which you have not understood, please note it down and we'll discuss it when the school reopens. Thank you.